The Divine Blessings of Cancer, a soul's journey through depth, faith, and love. Help us grow by subscribing, liking, and sharing with your friends. Cancer is one of the most deeply emotional and intuitive signs of the zodiac, carrying a quiet strength that emerges when life tests them. Their sensitivity isn't weakness, it's a divine gift, allowing them to perceive what others miss. Type 999 if you're open to receiving the universe's gifts and blessings. Blessed with profound compassion, Cancers have an innate connection to home and family, creating safe spaces where love flourishes. They nurture not out of obligation, but because their souls are wired to heal. God gifted Cancer with the ability to value life intensely, finding sacredness in everyday moments. A sunrise, shared laughter, the comfort of home. Where others rush, they pause, recognizing the fleeting beauty of existence. Their emotional depth teaches them that true wealth isn't in achievements, but in presence. Cancers measure life in whispered conversations, not accolades, and in tenderness, not trophies. Type 999 if you're open to receiving the universe's gifts and blessing. When the world chases distractions, Cancer seeks meaning, prioritizing connection over clout and love over legacy. Their heart is a compass, always pointing toward what matters most. Faith isn't just a belief for Cancer, it's a lived experience. They feel God in moonlit silences, in a child's embrace, and in the quiet reassurance that they're never alone. Family is Cancer's sanctuary, and their love has the power to mend broken bonds. They're the ones who turn houses into homes, filling them with warmth and unconditional acceptance. Life's hardships reveal Cancer's true friends, and they remember who stayed. Their loyalty is fierce, but their intuition ensures they invest only in those who cherish their heart. Self-care is a spiritual practice for Cancer. They understand that nurturing themselves isn't selfish, it's how they refill their soul to pour love into others. Though nostalgic, Cancer learns to live in the present, finding joy in simple pleasures. A warm meal, a rainy afternoon, a familiar song. Their presence is a meditation. Gratitude is Cancer's daily prayer. They don't wait for perfection to give thanks. They find grace in messy, ordinary moments, treating each as a gift. Their strength isn't loud, but it's unshakable. Cancer inspires by enduring, loving, and rising, not with a sword, but with an open heart. Resilience is their testimony. Every tear, every setback, becomes part of a story that proves tenderness and tenacity can coexist. Cancer's authenticity is a rebellion in a world of masks. They refuse to harden, choosing instead to live truthfully, even when it hurts. Forgiveness is their sacred art. They don't forget, but they release bitterness, understanding that peace is worth more than pride. They see beauty in brokenness, light in the cracks, and hope in the unseen. Cancer's soul is a prism, transforming pain into compassion. Their empathy is a superpower, allowing them to heal others just by listening. Cancer doesn't fix people. They hold space for them to mend. Reflection is their compass. They ponder life's mysteries, aligning their choices with their soul's purpose, not society's noise. Cancer's love leaves an eternal imprint, not in monuments, but in memories. Their legacy is written in the hearts they've touched. Through every storm, Cancer walks with God, not around the pain, but through it. Their journey proves that the softest hearts often carry the deepest strength. Thoughtful. Cancers possess an uncanny ability to remember. Not just events, but the emotions woven through them. Their memory is a sacred tapestry, preserving love's whispering whispers and life's most tender lessons across years. Calm. The moon's child understands cycles intuitively, that after every ending comes renewal, after every low tide comes flooding back. Their resilience is nature's rhythm made human. Reassuring. A Cancer's intuition borders on prophetic, their gut feelings carrying divine whispers. When they say, knowing, I just know, trust that the universe has spoken through them. Their homes become living altars, where photos tell stories, smells trigger memories, and every object holds emotional significance. Reverently. Space isn't just occupied, it's consecrated. Cancers love in verbs, not adjectives, through homemade soup, carefully chosen gifts, and midnight conversations that heal unseen wounds. Warmly. Their affection is an active sacrament. They possess emotional X-ray vision, seeing through masks to the vulnerable heart beneath. This gift makes them both extraordinary healers and, painfully sensitive to falseness. A Cancer's silence speaks volumes. In their quietest moments, entire oceans of feeling churn beneath the surface. Quietly. Still waters run unimaginably deep. They teach that boundaries can be soft, yet strong, like moonlight that gently illuminates, but never violates the darkness. Thoughtful. Protection needn't mean hardness. Cancers are alchemists of memory, transforming painful past experiences into wisdom that guides and comforts others. Gently. Their scars become lanterns. In relationships, they're human lighthouses. Their steady, recurring light doesn't prevent storms, but helps loved ones navigate them safely home. Reassuringly. Their emotional intelligence manifests as a supernatural radar, detecting unspoken hurts, hidden tensions, and buried joys with eerie accuracy. Thoughtful. Cancers understand that nostalgia isn't about living in the past, but harvesting its sweetness to flavor the present. Happily. Memory becomes a spice for today's meal. They demonstrate that true toughness isn't about suppressing emotions, but having the courage to feel fully while still moving forward, determined. A Cancer's creativity flows like moon-governed tides, sometimes flooding in passionate bursts, sometimes receding to nourish inner depths before returning. Inspired. They embody sacred paradox, simultaneously fragile as a crab's shell, yet enduring as the ocean that shapes it over millennia. Awestruck. Cancers are keepers of ancestral wisdom, whether through literal family traditions or soul memories that surface as uncanny déjà vu. Mysterious. Their humor often dances between playful whimsy and thoughtful. Cancers possess an extraordinary capacity for emotional alchemy, transforming their own pain into profound empathy that heals others, softly. When life gives them darkness, they don't just endure it, they learn to navigate by its subtle light, developing an almost supernatural ability to comfort others in their storms because they intimately know every contour of emotional turbulence, every hidden reef of grief, and every unexpected current of joy, deeply, making them the human equivalent of lighthouses whose beams don't just warn of danger, but actively guide lost souls back to safe harbor, their wounds having become wisdom that they generously share without expectation of reciprocation, calmly. Embodying the sacred paradox that our deepest hurts often become our greatest gifts when we allow them to soften rather than harden us, teaching through their very being that vulnerability is not the opposite of strength, but its purest expression, that tears can water the seeds of resilience, and that the heart's scars are not flaws but evidence of its extraordinary capacity to keep loving, despite knowing the cost. Reverently. The Cancerian connection to ancestry and lineage runs deeper than simple family ties. It's as if their souls are woven from the very fabric of generational memory, carrying forward both the blessings and burdens of those who came before them, with a solemn sense of stewardship, whispering. Hearing the whispers of ancestors in their dreams and feeling the weight of unlived potential from previous generations in their bones. Thoughtfully. Making them the natural historians of the human experience, who preserve recipes and rituals not out of mere tradition, but from an instinctive knowing that these are sacred threads connecting past to future, warmly. Their homes becoming living museums where every photograph, heirloom, and handwritten note is treated with reverence, not because they're stuck in the past, but because they understand these fragments contain the emotional DNA that shapes who we're becoming, calmly. Their nostalgia serving as a bridge between eras rather than an escape from the present, their emotional intuition allowing them to heal ancestral wounds simply by feeling them fully and breaking cycles with conscious love. In relationships, Cancers create gravitational fields of emotional safety so powerful they can coax even the most guarded hearts out of hiding. Their nurturing isn't cloying or smothering, but rather creates the perfect conditions for authenticity to flourish. Like master gardeners who know exactly how much sunlight and shade each fragile sprout of vulnerability needs to grow. Their intuitive understanding of emotional timing allowing them to ask the right questions at the right moment and recognize when silence speaks louder than words. Their memory for meaningful details making loved ones feel truly seen in a world where most settle for being glanced at. Their loyalty forming an unshakable foundation that says, "You're worth staying for," in a culture of disposable connections. Their forgiveness demonstrating that love isn't about perfection but presence, all while maintaining boundaries with the quiet firmness of ocean waves that know exactly where the shore begins and ends. Teaching through example that true care means honoring both others' needs and their own. The Cancerian spiritual path is one of embodied mysticism. They don't just believe in the divine, they feel it in the marrow of their bones, sensing sacredness in the steam rising from morning tea as much as in formal prayers. Finding altars everywhere, from kitchen tables to laundry piles, their entire lives becoming a continuous conversation with something greater that speaks through intuition, synchronicities, and the secret language of symbols only their heart can fully decipher. Their faith less about doctrine than about direct experience of the numinous woven through daily life. Their spiritual practice expressed through how they listen to a friend's pain or stir soup for a sick loved one, as much as through any ritual. Their connection to the moon reflecting an innate understanding that spirituality isn't linear but cyclical. Periods of withdrawal necessary to prepare for new phases of expression. Their emotional depth allowing them to serve as conduits between earthly and ethereal realms, making the transcendent feel accessible to those around them. Cancers possess an unparalleled emotional intelligence that operates like sonar in the depths of human experience. They can detect unspoken hurts from subtle shifts in energy, anticipate needs before they're voiced, and navigate complex interpersonal dynamics with an almost psychic attunement that leaves others marveling at how deeply understood they feel in a Cancer's presence. This gift stemming not from some supernatural source, but from a lifetime of careful attention paid to the spaces between words, the meanings beneath behaviors, and the patterns in emotional weather that most overlook. Their sensitivity acting as both radar and refuge, allowing them to reflect people back to themselves with startling clarity, while simultaneously holding space for transformation. Their wisdom lying in knowing when to voice observations, and when to simply let their silent understanding be the balm someone needs. Their emotional perception making them walking barometers for truth in a world full of facades. The Cancerian approach to time is fundamentally different. They exist in a rich, multidimensional relationship with past, present, and future simultaneously. Their memories vivid enough to be present realities, their anticipation of future possibilities tinged with the wisdom of lessons already learned. Their now expanded to include all the emotional truth that has ever touched them, making them natural historians of the heart who understand that healing isn't about forgetting, but about integrating, that growth comes not from abandoning who we were, but from honoring each version of ourselves with compassion. Their sense of continuity giving them extraordinary patience with processes that others might rush, their ability to hold multiple timelines in their consciousness at once, allowing them to see patterns and make connections that linear thinkers miss, their very being a testament to the idea that time isn't just a line, but a tapestry where every thread remains alive and significant. Cancers demonstrate that true strength has nothing to do with hardness. Their resilience flows like water rather than standing rigid like stone, allowing them to adapt without breaking, to absorb impact without losing their essential nature, to wear down obstacles through persistent love rather than forceful opposition. Their emotional flexibility making them survivors in the truest sense, able to go inward when outer conditions are harsh and emerge again when the season changes. Their softness paradoxically making them incredibly durable, because they know how to yield without surrendering, how to retreat without quitting, how to feel fully without drowning in the depths. Their example teaching that we don't have to become unfeeling to endure life's challenges, that sensitivity can be the source of our staying power if we learn its rhythms and respect its needs. Their entire existence proof that tenderness and tenacity aren't opposites, but natural allies. In a world obsessed with speed and surface, Cancers are the guardians of depth. They instinctively resist the cultural pressure to skim across experiences, instead diving deep where the pearls of true meaning are found, their natural pace serving as an antidote to modern fragmentation, their presence reminding us that love isn't measured in clicks or likes, but in cumulative moments of genuine attention, that relationships aren't projects to manage, but mysteries to dwell in. Their very way of being a quiet protest against the dehumanization of daily life. Their homes often becoming sanctuaries where phones are set aside and conversations unfold without agenda, where meals are rituals of connection rather than fuel stops, where time stretches and bends to accommodate heart-to-heart sharing rather than being sliced into efficient segments. Their lives demonstrating that the most precious things can't be optimized or automated, that true nourishment comes from what we're willing to slow down for. The Cancerian gift for creating belonging transforms mere spaces into soul-nourishing sanctuaries. They have an almost magical ability to make environments feel like living extensions of care, where every pillow fluff, candle choice, and stocked pantry item whispers, "You're home now." Their nesting instinct going far beyond aesthetics to create ecosystems of emotional safety where people can shed their armor, their attention to sensory details, the perfect level of soft lighting, the exact right blanket texture, the nostalgic smells of childhood comfort foods, working on a subconscious level to signal the nervous system that it's okay to relax. Their spaces often becoming the default gathering points for their communities because everyone intuitively senses that here they'll be fed both physically and emotionally. Their hospitality not being about performance, but about the sacred art of making others feel held. Their talent for homemaking ultimately being about heart-making, crafting containers where authentic connection can flourish. Ultimately, Cancers incarnate the divine feminine principle in all its potent vulnerability. They model that real power lies not in domination, but in nurturance, not in control, but in capacity to hold, not in shouting over others, but in truly hearing them, their strength flowing from their willingness to stay open in a world that constantly tries to harden us. Their courage demonstrated every time they choose to feel deeply, despite knowing the risks. Their wisdom evident in how they transform pain into compassion rather than bitterness. Their legacy written not in monuments, but in the countless souls they've helped heal, simply by reflecting back the truth of their inherent worthiness, their lives a quiet revolution against the lie that we must choose between being sensitive and being strong. Their very existence proof that the way through isn't around the heart, but straight through its center, making them living embodiments of the radical truth that love is not our weakness, but our greatest strength, our truest home, and our most enduring legacy.